Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? I hope that all of you are in a good condition. Today, I would like to share to you and present the materials that relate with business English. But before that, let me introduce myself first. My name is Ni Putu Ayu Pirdayanti, and today I would like to present the materials about English for negotiating. To make it clear, for the first, I would like to show you the outline and the agenda. The first is about opening statement and stating your position. And the second is about clarifying position. And then the last is about making and responding to proposal. Okay, without any further ado, let's jump and let's move to the first topic. Okay, for the first, we have the opening statement. The opening statement have 5 elements or 5 points that will affect and relate to the opening statement or when you do the opening statement. The first is strategy. In a strategy, we have 2 strategies. The first is holding back and the second is getting feedback. When you do the holding back, it is important to give yourself a room to maneuver later, so don't present your best effort immediately. And then when you do the getting feedback, make sure that when you presenting, you check the frequently of the audience and has an opportunity, or the audience has an opportunity to give questions and comment. And then for the second element is background to the negotiation. And the background to the negotiations, we have the expressions to use, or you can use the expressions like has anything changed since, or you can use the expressions like I think you have changed to read our proposal. And you also use the expressions like you have all seen our brochure or our proposals before. Yeah, you can use the expressions like that. Okay, next, for the third, company profile. In a company profile, you can use the expressions like our activity is, or our major markets are, or you can use currently we blah blah blah. Okay, for the fourth, we have the topic about link to position statement. When you link the position statement, you can use the expressions like okay, let me know the turn, let me know turn to blah blah blah, and then the expression like oh right, I should now move on to. You can use the expressions like that. And for the last, inviting interruptions. When you want to invite for the participants or the audience interruptions, let's deal with any questions immediately, and then just interrupt if anything is unclear. But if anything is clear, don't do the interruptions. Okay, next we will continue with the stating your position. When you state the positions, you have 3 parts. The first is general, and then focus, and the last is additional. In general part, you can use the expressions like basically we are interested in, or you can use the expressions like we are looking for. And then in a focus part, you can use the expressions like it is essential for us to blah blah blah. And then you can use the expressions like I should stress that mentions what thing that make you stress. And then in the last part is additional. You can use the expressions like in the slide that I already showed to you. The first is blah 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 is a lower priority, or blah 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 is less important at the moment. You can use the expressions like that. Okay, we will continue to the next material. Okay, this is the second subtopic today. It is about clarifying position. Before we continue to tell about clarifying positions material, make sure that when you clarify the positions, the audience or the participants will listen your materials. Now, today I have a strategy to make the audience want to listen to you. The first is asking question, and the second is about paraphrasing the materials, and then the last is you can do summarizing the material. Okay, when you clarify the positions, we have confirming negotiation positions, and then asking for clarifications and general questions like in the slide already show. Okay, let's take a look for confirming negotiating position. You can use the expressions like the most important thing for you is, or you can use the expressions like is that right, or you can use the expressions like as I understand it, you would like to. Yeah, you can use the expressions like that, and the response will be that's right, exactly, and yes it is. Okay, next, for asking for clarifications, you can use the expressions like could you clarify one point for me, and then when you say are you saying that blah blah blah. Okay, and then for the clarifying, you can say like when I said blah blah blah, I mean and then mentions what do you mean, and then of course or sure. And for the last is about general question. In a general questions, you can use the expressions like can I just ask you a question about, and then could you tell something about. And to make encourage or showing interest, you can use the expressions like go ahead, of course, yes, certainly, something like that. Okay, still in clarifying positions, when defining priorities, you can use the expressions like is your considerations, or you can use like how important is to you. You can use the strategy direct answer and indirect answer. When you use the direct answer, you can use the expressions like it is our major priority, or you can use like it is a secondary issue. And then in a indirect answer, you can use well, we need to discuss this further, and or you can use it is not something we can go ignore. And for next is about getting the facts straight. When you getting the facts straight, you can use the expressions like what will be the minimum you, and then would consider. And then you can also use the direct and indirect answer. The first direct answers, you can use the expressions like we are looking at a figure of 3,000, and then you can also like use the expressions like around $3 million. Or indirect answer, you can use it's difficult to say at this moment, or that depends on various factors. You can use the expression like that. Next, we will move to the next or the last subtopic today. It is about making and responding to proposal. When you making and respond the proposal, you can use a ninth element or ninth point that will affect or relate with response proposal. The first is summarizing. When you summarize, please uh, please take a look or please aware that before moving on to the concrete proposals, it is sometimes useful to take or to make a summarize about your proposal. And then for the introducing a review, you can use the expressions like, or you can uh, use the expressions or the material that relate with uh, the several ways that could work together, and you can use the expressions like, I think we could develop our relationship in various ways. And then for the third, about your view on things, you can use the expressions like, for our company, and then mentions the material that you want to mention, and then as we see it, you want blah blah blah. You can use the expressions like this. And then the next is checking. In the checking point, you can use the expressions like, is that how you see it? Or you can use the expressions like, did you have other ideas? Or you can use the expressions like, how does that sound? Something like that. And then in a concrete proposal, when you're making the proposal, make sure that for the first, you set the parameters for discussions, and it could be an advantage if you want to the negotiations to go in certain directions. Okay, next, about starting proposal. In a starting proposal, we are now ready to move on to concrete proposal. And in a starting your proposal, you can use the expressions like, okay, I think we can now begin responding to your proposal. You can use the expressions like that. And then let's continue to making proposal. When you're making proposal, you can use the expressions like, we propose, or the purpose of your proposal. And then you can use the expression like, our proposal is to, or we could offer you, and then we suggest you to blah blah blah, and then we are prepared to blah blah blah. Okay, let's continue about the counter proposal. In a counter proposal, you can use the expressions like, from our point of view, we would rather have blah blah blah, and then could we offer an alternative proposal? And then you also can use the expressions like, uh, supposing we to what, and then how about if we blah blah blah, like that. And then for the last element or point when we making and responding to proposal is about reacting the proposal. When you react the proposal, there is three kind that you use when you want to react the proposal. The first is positively, and then neutrally, and negatively. In a positive way, you can use the expressions like, that sounds fine, or you can use the expressions like, I think we can go along with that. And in a naturally, you can use the expressions like, we might be able to do that, or I see what you are saying. And for the last, in a negative way, you can say that could be a problem, or you can use the expressions like, we can't agree to that. Okay, the next is conclusions. Okay, I will conclude all of the materials that I already explained to you before. The first is about um, opening statement and stating your positions, and the second is about clarifying positions, and the last is about making and responding to proposal. Okay, for the first, when you want to open the statement, we have the 5 point or 5 elements that will be related uh, for the or you when you want to do the opening statement. The first is strategy, background, company profile, link to the position statement, and last is about inviting introductions. And then um, when you want to state your positions, you have a three part, or you can use one of the three parts, like in a general context, focus context, and additional context when you want to state your position. And then the last is about making and responding the proposal. When you want to respond and make the proposal, you must drill link with the ninth point that I already said before. The first is about summarizing and then introducing review, and then the view on think or your review on think, and then about checking the proposal, and then concrete proposal, and then led to the next step is about starting proposal and making proposal, and then counter proposal, and last is reacting proposal with using positive, naturally, and negative way. Okay, I think that's all about my materials about the topic that relate with business English. I hope that all of you got many informations today, and I hope that this material will useful for you and you can implement this in your real life. Okay, for the last, I will say thank you for your watching and thank you for your attentions. And I will close um, with saying goodbye. Thank you.